Teaching Jeet Kune Do, how do you know what to teach, when to teach it, and to whom to teach it? We'll take a look at some of the issues that plague JKD instructors and practitioners when it comes to art and philosophy. Hello, everyone. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 125. This is the one about Jeet Kune Do and teaching all that you know. As you're logging in, if you guys would be kind enough to say where you're logging in from, hit the like button and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. And if you're catching the final edit video over on the YouTube, please be sure to subscribe while you're over there, so that you know every time that we put a new video up. And if you enjoy my work and you'd like to support the program, please consider visiting jkdrebel.com/store and check out what we have to offer over there. But of course, the best thing you can do is to share the video and spread the word about the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. See who is here with me today. Russell. Russell, stand by. Bob Landers is here. Hey, Mark Stewart. Russell, I got two Russells on here, right? Derek John Miller. Derek John had some good questions in last Saturday. Greg Wilson out of York. Dave McCulloch. Hey, Terry Valor and Pedro Rodriguez. Pedro, you and I might have some good news from Governor DeSantis. Pedro is up in Palm Beach, Florida, and I'm down here in Miami. Hey, Charles Loudermill. All right, so thanks for checking in with us, guys. So like I said, this is the one about Jeet Kune Do and teaching all that you know. So the idea, you'll get a kick out of this. The idea for today's broadcast title came from a conversation that I had with one of my students who happens to be on here, Russell Dulé, about something that happened up in Seattle when he was up there during this year's Junfan Kung Fu Institute Instructor Conference. So Russ, if I have the story right, because you know sometimes I get the stories wrong, Russell says that in a conversation with Chris Kent, Chris said that he's taught Cass Magda all he knows about Jeet Kune Do, and that Cass taught all that he knows about Pen. I have a funny brain that takes things and twists them around. So I heard this, and then I thought, what if I reworked the pronouns? I would come up with a brand new meaning, right? Because it could mean that Chris Kent taught Cass Magda everything that Chris Kent, knows about Jeet Kune Do, or it could be read the other way, that Chris Kent taught Cass Magda knows about Jeet Kune Do, right? Do you get it? Right? In any case, right? That was the genesis of today's title. But in any case, it did put me in mind of the time when Paula Inasano, the Inasanos were here for the annual Miami seminar. And in conversation, she related to me that some of the instructors back home in California at the Inasano Academy had kind of complained to her that they had run out of material to teach. So what I immediately determined was that unbeknownst to her, I could identify with what they were saying. Had felt at various times that there wasn't much left for me to relay from my own teaching. But instead, I took that and internalized it. So it galvanized me into action because, see, at that time, I did not have a written curriculum. I was just, as we say sometimes, going with the flow. And I suspect that it was the same thing or something very similar for those guys at the Inasano Academy. So one of the things that it did was, one of the first things that I did was I spent an entire Saturday afternoon into evening, into night, into early Sunday morning at my school, writing out the first version of it. You have to remember, this is in the days before even word processors, definitely before personal computers and what have you. So I don't have all the pages of it, but let me show you the first version of Unified Martial Art Academy. See, this is from back when we were out west. This is the first version of Unified Martial Art Academy written curriculum. Okay, this is it. I spent hours coming up with that. So you probably can't see it, but it's pretty much the kickboxing stuff. And then spent some time over here on the fun sao, right? The trapping stuff. Okay. And then there was all of this was done, right, by pen in block letters, right, in one setting that took hours and hours. And then I got this far. As you can see, it's the Kali teaching outline, and then there's nothing. I never made it to finishing this particular document in terms of curriculum. So why I'm telling you this because I think that hard, right, for people to go forward to get anywhere if you don't have some kind of guidance structure. And, you know, sometimes this thing about Jeet Kune Do is that, you know, it can't be standardized or even that it can't be taught or whatever. I mean, that's kind of nonsense, right? It's just that everybody will put things together their way to the best of their ability based on the amount of information and the quality of the amount of information that you have. So my good friend Terrell Kamara just came on, and he and I were in conversation last night, and I did find it. This is something I got years and years ago. As a matter of fact, it's from 1988. This is a personal note to me from the late Sifu Richard Bustillo. And so in here is the description, right, of the course description for, I guess this would have been for the IMB Academy. So this was the first time where you saw requirements and curriculum for phase 1, requirement and curriculum for phase 2 and phase 3. Now, as Terrell and I were talking about last night, it's interesting that there was nothing printed for phase 4, right? But that's a discussion for another time, right? Okay, so let me ask you a few rhetorical questions, right? Have you ever heard Burt Richardson tell the story of how Sifu Asano might be teaching a whole bunch of stuff, and then at the end, he'd say something like, but if it was up to me, I'd just hit him in the hand? Have you ever heard Sifu Asano himself say something like, if you get the technique, you get one thing. But if you get the principle behind the technique, then you get it all? Have you ever heard it said that JKD is all about the daily decrease and not the daily increase? Or have you ever heard Sifu Asano, again, talk about the fact that judo has, I guess, like 67, 70 throws or whatever, but a good judo competitor uses probably only about 3 or 4. See, all of that should give you clues or ideas into what, as an instructor, you should be focusing on as you build out your JKD. And using this kind of approach, there's no way that you will ever run out of material to teach, because you're not going after technique. You're going after principle behind technique as well. I should say you're not going after only technique. You're going after also principle behind technique. And so there's now also no way that you will ever be able to teach all you know. People would have to be with you literally from beginning to the end in order to be on the receiving end of everything it is that you know, right? And keep this in mind, because it's another thing that we've all heard many times, and that is that Bruce Lee himself kept changing his curriculum as he continued to research and analyze and experiment in the development of Jeet Kune Do. So I think it's fairly sure to say that had Bruce Lee lived it's safe to say that that approach, right, of research and analyze and experiment and develop, that approach would have continued to be his working model, right? Because like one of my favorite JKD quotes is that knowledge is fixed in time, whereas knowing is continual. So we should all have our different curricula. And even if it's a set curricula, that doesn't mean that it is a set and fixed, like in stone curricula, right? They can continue to grow and evolve. All right. So today's broadcast is kind of a warm up for next week's, where I will go into greater detail about how to structure a Jeet Kune Do curriculum. So if you have any questions about that topic, you can message me here on Facebook or email me at jkdrebel@gmail.com. And I'll be sure to address them when we get together next week. All right. So that's it for today. Feel free, share, ask questions. I'll review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live here on Facebook, and subscribe over on the YouTube channel like I asked you before. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods and on Instagram at Dwight D. Woods. I love jeetkundo.com. The Quick Skill Series Volume 1 is available. There's going to be a change to that in a little while. And then a little while later, Volume 2 will be produced. Coming up on Friday, May 1st, Jeet Kune Do Dialogues episode with Richard Rycraw. It's a guy that I know through Burton Richardson. That's Friday at 6 p.m. Today is a pastel day. What better way than to go with Bruce Van Gogh, right? Okay, so that's it for today. I will see some of you on Friday with Richard Rycraw. The rest of you, I'll see maybe next week for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. Until then, stay safe, stay sane, stay happy, stay healthy. I hope you're starting to feel the effects of some of the restrictions being lifted wherever it is that you are. All right, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take care. Talk soon.